The sky above Seoul turned dark on a Tuesday morning. It was not clouds. It was not rain. It was something much bigger. Do-yoon was sitting at his small desk in his apartment, eating instant noodles and watching videos on his computer. He worked as a software engineer for a small company, but today was his day off. He had no plans except to eat, sleep, and maybe play some games. Then his screen went black. At first, he thought his computer had crashed. He hit the keyboard a few times. Nothing happened. Then, slowly, an image appeared. It was not any website he knew. It was not any channel he had seen before. A face appeared on the screen. But it was not a human face. The creature had dark green skin that looked hard, like the shell of a beetle. Its eyes were large and black, with no white parts at all. Where a mouth should be, there were two large mandibles that clicked together when it spoke. The creature was tall, perhaps 7 feet, and wore some kind of metal armor that shined under strange purple lights. Do-yoon stopped eating. His chopsticks hung in the air, noodles dripping back into the bowl. "People of Earth," the creature said. Its voice was deep and strange, like rocks grinding together. "I am Commander Tholik of the Velith Empire. Your planet has been chosen for conquest. You have 24 hours to surrender completely. If you do not, we will destroy everything. Your cities, your people, your entire world. There will be no negotiation. There will be no mercy. 24 hours. Choose wisely." The screen went black again. Do-yoon sat very still for a long moment. Then he looked at his noodles. They were getting cold. He shrugged and took another bite. "Wow," he said to his empty apartment. That was different. He opened his phone and checked social media. Everyone was talking about it. The broadcast had gone to every screen on Earth. Televisions, computers, phones, even the big screens in public squares. Everyone had seen it. Some people were scared. Some people were angry. But Do-yoon noticed something else. Some people were already making jokes. He smiled. He understood. When humans were scared, they laughed. It was just how they were. He looked at his computer screen, where he had saved a screenshot of Commander Tholik's face. The alien looked so serious, so angry. Those clicking mandibles. Those empty black eyes. That shiny armor. An idea came to Do-yoon's mind. He opened his image editing software. Within 3 minutes, he had created something beautiful. It was Commander Tholik's face, but now it was wearing a small party hat. Below the image, Do-yoon had written, "When you give humanity 24 hours, that they ask if you have games on your phone." He posted it online. 7 minutes later, it had been shared 10,000 times, across the city, across the country, across the world. People saw it. They laughed. They shared it. They made their own versions. Commander Tholik's face appeared everywhere. He was wearing sunglasses. He was holding a cup of coffee. He was dancing in a music video. He was the new star of the internet, and he had no idea. In a tall building in the center of Seoul, Ambassador Yuna was not laughing. She stood in her office, watching multiple screens at once. Phone calls came from every direction. The president wanted answers. The United Nations wanted a meeting. Other countries wanted to know what Korea knew. She knew nothing. Nobody knew anything. Aliens had just threatened to destroy the world, and humanity had no idea how to respond. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from her teenage son, Junho. He had sent her a video. She opened it, expecting more news about the aliens. Instead, she heard music. Someone had taken Commander Tholik's speech and turned it into a song. The alien's deep, grinding voice had been changed to match a popular K-pop beat. Young people were already dancing to it. Yuna closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "This is how we die," she whispered, making fun of aliens. But even as she said it, she felt something strange. A small smile appeared on her face. She could not help it. The song was actually quite catchy. In the skies above Earth, the Velith warship floated in silence. It was called the Dominion of Endless Stars, and it was enormous. Bigger than any building humans had ever made. Its dark metal surface absorbed light, making it look like a hole in the sky. Commander Tholik stood on the bridge, watching screens that showed Earth's communications. He expected to see panic. He expected to see governments begging for mercy. He expected to see military forces surrendering before the battle even began. Instead, he saw his own face wearing a party hat. "What is this?" he asked his second-in-command, a smaller Velith named Crix. Crix studied the screen. "It appears to be humor, Commander. They are making jokes about us." Tholik's mandibles clicked in confusion. "Jokes? We have threatened to destroy their world. Why would they make jokes?" "I do not know, Commander. This is not in any of our records. No species has ever responded this way." Tholik watched as more images appeared. His face on a baby's body. His face on a cat. His face on something called a disappointed dad. He did not understand any of it. "Perhaps they do not believe us," he said. "Perhaps they think we are not serious. Should we demonstrate our power, Commander?" Tholik considered this. The Velith had conquered 400 worlds. They had never faced resistance like this before. Usually, species understood fear. They understood power. They surrendered or they died. But these humans, they were strange. "Not yet," Tholik said. "Let them have their jokes. In 24 hours, they will not be laughing anymore. Back on Earth." The jokes continued. In Bizin, an old grandmother named Sunak was cooking dinner when her grandson showed her the alien broadcast on his phone. She watched Commander Tholik deliver his threat. She studied his face carefully. Then she shook her head. "He looks like he needs to eat more," she said. "Too skinny. Someone should give him some rice." Her grandson recorded this and posted it online. Within an hour, Grandmother Sunak was famous. In a military bunker beneath the government buildings in Seoul, General Tai Wu watched everything carefully. He was an old soldier who had seen many things, but he had never seen anything like this. His aide, Lieutenant Ji-yeon, showed him the latest trends on social media. "Sir, the hashtag #VelithGoHome is trending in every country. People are posting videos of themselves laughing at the aliens. There are songs, dances, and something called memes everywhere." Tai Wu rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "And what about real preparations? What are our military forces doing?" "All forces are on high alert, sir, but..." Jian paused. "But what?" "But even our soldiers are sharing the memes, sir." Tai Wu sighed. But deep inside, he felt something that surprised him. He felt hope. The Velith had studied humanity's weapons. They had counted every missile, every tank, every soldier. They knew exactly what Earth could do in a fight, but they had not studied humanity's spirit. They had not studied the internet. They had not understood that when humans faced fear, they fought back with the strangest weapon of all. Laughter. The first 3 hours of the invasion had passed. The aliens had expected surrender. Instead, they got memes. And this was only the beginning. By the 5th hour after the alien broadcast, Commander Tholik had stopped watching human communications. It was too painful. Someone had created a dating profile for him. The profile said he was 7 feet of mystery, and that his hobbies included conquering planets and clicking mandibles romantically. Thousands of humans were leaving comments. Some said they would go on a date with him. Others said he was not their type. Many used words that the Velith translators could not understand. Crix, his second-in-command, approached him carefully on the bridge of the warship. "Commander, I have a report on human psychological status." "Tell me they are afraid now," Tholik said. "No, Commander. Crix looked at his datapad. Human morale appears to be rising. Rising? Dalek's mandibles clicked rapidly in shock. How? Is that possible? We threatened to kill them all. I cannot explain it, Commander. But the data is clear. Before your broadcast, human happiness levels were average. Now, they are higher than any point in the last year. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Dalek turned to stare at the blue planet below them. 400 worlds. 400 species. All of them had reacted with fear. All of them had begged or fought or surrendered. None of them had made dating profiles for him. These humans are broken, he said quietly. Their minds do not work properly. Perhaps, Commander? Or perhaps, Crix stopped himself. Perhaps what? Nothing, Commander. It is not my place. Speak. Crix hesitated. Perhaps they have never faced a threat they could not laugh at. Perhaps laughter is their way of fighting back. Dalek considered this. It was a strange thought. On his homeworld, laughter was rare. The Velith did not make jokes. They conquered. They ruled. They crushed those who opposed them. Laughter was weakness. But looking at Earth, he wondered if he had missed something important. Down on Earth, the meme war was growing in Seoul. A young college student named Minji was organizing something big. She sat in a coffee shop with her laptop open, messaging people around the world. She had started a dance challenge. The rules were simple. Film yourself doing a silly dance that made fun of the Velith's strange insect-like movements. Use the hashtag. Post it everywhere. In 6 hours, over 2 million people had participated. Minji watched the videos pour in. There were old people dancing, young people dancing, people in hospitals dancing, soldiers dancing, even police officers dancing. Everyone was laughing. Her phone rang. It was her mother. Minji, what are you doing? Aliens are going to kill us all and you're making dance videos. Mom, this is important. How is dancing important right now? Minji thought about it. How could she explain? The aliens were terrifying. Their ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. Their technology was beyond understanding. Against them, humanity had no real chance. But that was exactly why the memes mattered. Because we're showing them who we are, Minji said finally. We're showing them that we don't give up, that we don't just cry in fear, that no matter what happens, we stay, us. Her mother was silent for a long moment. Then she said something that surprised Minji. Teach me the dance. Minji smiled. In the military bunker. General Taiwu was not dancing. He was planning. On a large screen, he could see communications from military forces around the world. Every country was ready. Missiles were armed. Soldiers were in position. The world's most powerful weapons were pointed at the alien ship. But Taiwu knew it would not be enough. He had seen what the Velith ship could do. Their weapons were beyond anything Earth possessed. In a straight fight, humanity would lose. Lieutenant Jian walked in with more reports. Sir, I have analysis from our psychologists. What do they say? They say the memes are actually working, sir. Jian pulled up data on a screen. The Velith ship's communications are becoming erratic. They're sending messages back to their homeworld much more frequently than expected. And their messages seem confused. Confused how? They keep asking their leaders for guidance, sir. They don't know how to respond to us. Every other species they've conquered reacted with fear or aggression. We're doing neither. We're laughing at them. Their entire strategy is based on psychological dominance, and it's not working. Taiwu leaned back in his chair. This was interesting. Very interesting. So you're saying the memes are a weapon? In a way, yes, sir. Not against their ship, but against their minds. They came here expecting to feel powerful. Instead, they're feeling embarrassed. That's not something they know how to handle. Taiwu thought about this. The Velith had technology humanity could not match. But perhaps humans had something the Velith could not match either. Keep the memes going, he said. And tell Ambassador Yuna I have an idea. On the alien ship, Commander Tholik received a direct transmission from the Velith High Command. This was unusual. Normally, the High Command only spoke when something went wrong. Commander Tholik, the High Commander's voice boomed through the speakers. Explain why human morale is increasing. High Commander, I cannot explain it. These creatures are unusual. Unusual is not an answer. Other conquered worlds are watching your invasion. They are seeing humans laugh at us. Do you understand what this means? Tholik did understand. The Velith ruled through fear. If other species saw that fear could be defeated with laughter, they might start laughing too. The entire empire could be threatened. I will make them fear us, Tholik said firmly. I will demonstrate our power. See that you do. The empire is watching. The transmission ended. Tholik turned to his weapons officer. Target an isolated area of Earth. Nothing with too many humans. We want to scare them, not destroy them yet. Fire a demonstration shot. Yes, Commander. Minutes later, a beam of purple light shot from the Velith ship. It struck a small, uninhabited island in the Pacific Ocean. The island vanished in a flash of light. Where there had been rock and trees, there was now only ocean. The Velith watched Earth communications, waiting for the fear to begin. It did not. Instead, within 1 hour, someone had created a memorial video for the island. Sad music played while images of rocks and seagulls filled the screen. Text appeared, in loving memory of Random Island. It didn't even have a name, but it was a good island. Gone too soon. Millions of people shared it. Others made joke videos apologizing to the fish that had lived near the island. Someone created a Ghost Island account on social media and started posting from the afterlife. Tholik watched all of this in complete silence. They're making fun of our demonstration, Crick said quietly. They watched us destroy an island with enough power to level a city, and they're making jokes about it. I see that, Tholik replied. His mandibles had stopped clicking. He was beyond confusion now. He was entering something new, something that felt uncomfortable and wrong. He was beginning to feel stupid back on Earth. Grandmother Sunak in Bizin was still cooking. Her house had become crowded with reporters who wanted to talk to the famous grandmother who had criticized the alien commander. Why are you not afraid? A reporter asked her. Sunak stirred her soup calmly. I am 82 years old. I survived poverty. I survived war. I raised 3 children alone after my husband died. You think some big bug from space scares me? But they destroyed an island, and I burned dinner last week. Bad things happen. We keep going. She tasted the soup and added more salt. These aliens, they think they understand power. But they don't understand anything. Power is not destroying things. Power is building things, raising children, making food for your family, being kind when the world is hard. That is real power. The reporters stared at her. Then one of them started crying. Sunak patted the reporter's shoulder. There. Have some soup. Everything will be fine. And strangely, in that moment, surrounded by the smell of home cooking while aliens floated above the Earth, it felt like it might actually be true. The 8th hour ended. The Velith had made their demonstration of power. Humanity had responded with jokes about fish. The meme war was just getting started. Deep underground, far from the memes and laughter, a different kind of work was happening. Dr. Yunji had not slept in 36 hours. Her eyes were red. Her hands shook from too much coffee. But she could not stop now. Not when they were so close. She worked in a secret laboratory beneath KAIST, one of Korea's best science universities. The laboratory was so secret that even most government officials did not know it existed. It had been built 50 years ago, After something fell from the sky, the Velith were not the first aliens to visit Earth. In 1973, a small Velith scout ship had crashed in the mountains of Korea. The crash killed everyone aboard. The Korean government had hidden the wreckage and studied it in secret ever since. For 50 years, scientists had examined the alien technology. They understood some things. They did not understand others. But they had learned one very important fact about Velith ships. They had a weakness. Unji stood before a large screen showing a diagram of the crash ship's power core. It was a beautiful crystal, purple and glowing. That generated more energy than anything on Earth. The crystal vibrated at a specific frequency, like a tuning fork made of pure light, and like any tuning fork, it could be shattered. Her colleague, Hyunwoo, sat at a computer nearby. He was a quiet man who usually spoke only when necessary. But today, he was talking rapidly. "I found it," he said, his voice excited but tired. "The resonance frequency. If we can generate this exact sound and broadcast it at enough power, it will shatter every crystal core in range." "How much power do we need?" Yoonji asked. Hyunwoo did some calculations. His eyes went wide. "A lot. More than any single device can produce. We would need," he typed more numbers. "We would need about 4 billion devices, all broadcasting at the same time. 4 billion. It was an impossible number. They could never build that many machines in just hours." Then Yoonji had an idea. A crazy, beautiful idea. "Hyunwoo," she said slowly, "how many smartphones are there on Earth?" Hyunwoo looked up. Understanding dawned on his face. "About 5 billion. Unji smiled for the first time in days. 10 hours had passed since the alien broadcast. Across the world, governments were having secret meetings. The plan spread quickly from Korea to Japan to China to Europe to America. Everyone agreed. It was insane. It probably would not work, but it was the only chance they had. The plan had 2 parts. Part 1, keep the aliens distracted. Part 2, prepare the real weapon. The memes were not just jokes anymore. They were strategy. In New York, a comedy show aired live on television. Every comedian made fun of the Velith. In London, people gathered in public squares to sing silly songs about aliens. In Tokyo, artists created giant projections of Commander Tholik doing embarrassing things on the sides of buildings, and the Velith watched all of it on the alien ship. Commander Tholik was losing control of his crew. The Velith soldiers had come to Earth expecting glory. They expected to crush a weaker species and add another world to their empire. Instead, they were becoming the galaxy's biggest joke. "Commander," Crix reported nervously, "the memes have spread beyond Earth. Other species in the Empire have seen them. The Zorith are sharing images. The Kelani are creating their own versions. Even the conquered peoples of Velith Prime are laughing." Tholik felt something cold spread through his body. This was worse than military defeat. This was humiliation on a galactic scale. "Order the crew to stop watching Earth communications," he commanded. "I tried, Commander. They cannot look away. The humans are too interesting." Interesting. Tholik hated that word now. He had come here to be feared, not to be interesting. Back on Earth, Ambassador Yuna was doing her part. She stood before the United Nations, giving a speech that was broadcast to every corner of the globe. Behind her, screens showed the alien ship floating in the sky. "My fellow humans," she said calmly, "we have been given an ultimatum. Surrender in 24 hours or face destruction. The Velith Empire believes they have conquered 400 worlds. They believe they understand power." She paused and smiled slightly. "But they do not understand us." The room was silent. The world was watching. "We are a species that argues about pizza toppings. We are a species that created poetry and war, often about the same thing. We are a species that put a car in space because we thought it would be funny. We do not make sense. We do not follow rules. And we absolutely do not surrender to someone who looks like an angry grasshopper in a costume. The United Nations chamber exploded in laughter. People watching at home cheered. The message was clear. Humanity was not giving up. Meanwhile, Yoonji and Hyunwoo worked desperately. They had designed an app that would turn every smartphone into a weapon. When activated, it would emit the exact frequency needed to shatter Velith power crystals. But they had less than 12 hours to build it, test it, and distribute it to billions of people. They were not alone. Scientists from every country were helping. Programmers worked in shifts, sleeping for only minutes at a time. Governments prepared distribution systems. Everything had to be perfect. The app is ready, Hyunwoo announced at hour 14. But we need a way to make everyone download it. Yoonji thought about this. How do you convince 5 billion people to download something in just a few hours? Then she remembered the memes. She remembered how fast they spread. And she had an idea. We disguise it, she said. We make it look like a meme app. Something fun. Something people want to share. Within an hour, they had created the cover. The app appeared to be a meme generator that could put Commander Tholik's face on anything. It was silly. It was fun. And hidden inside its code was humanity's only hope. The app launched at hour 15. Within 30 minutes, it had been downloaded 50 million times. People shared it with their friends. Celebrities promoted it. News channels mentioned it. Even grandmother Sunak downloaded it. Though she needed her grandson's help, nobody knew they were downloading a weapon. They thought they were just downloading another joke. By hour 16, 2 billion phones had the app. By hour 18, 3 billion. The numbers kept climbing. On the alien ship, Tholik prepared for the final assault. He had received his orders from the High Command. Humanity had refused to surrender. Now, they had to be destroyed. Prepare all weapons, he ordered. Target major population centers. We attack at hour 24. Yes, Commander, his weapons officer replied. But something bothered Tholik. His sensors showed strange readings from Earth's surface. Billions of small electronic signals, all dormant, all waiting for something. The pattern made no sense. What are those signals? He asked Crix. Crix examined the data. They appear to be from human communication devices, Commander. Phones, they call them. Billions of them. But they are not doing anything unusual. Keep watching them, Tholik said. Something felt wrong, but he could not understand what. Below, on Earth, General Taiwu looked at his watch. 8 hours remained. Everything was in position. Billions of people held the weapon in their hands without knowing it. Is everyone ready? He asked Lieutenant Jian. Yes, sir. Every country has confirmed. When we give the signal, everyone will activate the app together. And the cover story? People will think they're participating in a global music event. A Harmony for Peace thing. They'll open the app and play the sound at the same time. They won't know what they're really doing. Taiwu nodded. It was a good plan. A desperate plan. But humanity was good at desperate. He looked at the screens showing memes still spreading across the internet. Commander Tholik's face was now on historical paintings, movie posters, and baby photos. The alien had become the most famous face in human history, and not for the reasons he had wanted. You know, Taiwu said quietly. I almost feel sorry for him. Jian raised an eyebrow. Sir? He came here expecting to destroy a planet. Instead, he's going to be remembered forever as the alien who got Mem to death. Taiwu almost smiled. That's worse than losing a war, isn't it? Jian thought about it. She nodded. Much worse, sir. The 18th hour ended. The weapon was ready. The memes continued, and humanity waited for its moment. Hour 20 arrived, and the world changed. Do-hyun sat in his small apartment, his phone in his hand. Like billions of others, he had received a message. It came from every government at the same time, translated into every language on Earth. Operation Unity. Open the meme app. Press play at exactly 8 p.m. Universal Time. This is not a drill. Humanity needs you. He did not fully understand what was happening, but he understood enough. The jokes were over. The time for something real had come. Across the world, 4 billion people held their phones and waited. In Seoul, in Tokyo, in London, in New York, in small villages and giant cities, humanity stood together. They did not know exactly what they were doing. They only knew that they had been asked to help. And humans, when asked to help, usually said yes. On the Velith ship, Commander Tholik was preparing his final attack. His weapons were charged. His targets were selected. In 4 hours, he would begin the destruction of Earth. Then his sensors went crazy. "Commander!" Crick shouted. "Something is happening on the planet's surface." Tholik looked at the screens. Billions of electronic devices were activating at once. A signal was rising from Earth, growing stronger every second. "What is that?" Tholik demanded. "I don't know, Commander. It appears to be sound, some kind of music. They're all playing the same sound at the same time." Tholik did not understand. Music? What could music possibly do? Then he felt it. The ship vibrated. Just slightly at first, like a small earthquake. Then stronger. The metal walls began to hum with an unpleasant tone. "Commander, our power core!" Crick's voice was filled with fear. "It's resonating with the sound." Tholik ran to the engine room. What he saw there made his blood freeze. The beautiful purple crystal that powered his ship was shaking. Cracks appeared on its surface, spreading like lightning. The crystal that had brought them across the stars, that had powered weapons capable of destroying cities, was falling apart. "Shut it down!" he screamed. "Contain it." But it was too late. On Earth, Do-hyun held his phone to the sky. From its speaker came a strange, beautiful sound. It was not quite music. It was more like a single perfect note that seemed to come from everywhere at once. 4 billion phones. 4 billion voices of crystal pure frequency. All aimed at the sky. Dr. Yoonji stood in her laboratory, watching the data scroll across her screen. The plan was working. The resonance was perfect. Every Velith crystal within range was shattering. Hyunwoo grabbed her arm. "Look!" Through the window of the laboratory, they could see the sky. The massive Velith ship, the dominion of endless stars, was falling. Its lights flickered and died. Explosions bloomed across its surface like flowers of fire. It was coming down. "We did it," Yoonji whispered. Then louder, "We did it." Across the Earth, people watched as the giant alien ship fell from the sky. It crashed into the ocean far from any land, sending up a wave that rocked ships but hurt no one. The other ships in the Velith fleet, smaller ones that had been hidden in orbit, fell too. Their crystals had all shattered at the same moment. The invasion was over. But humanity was not finished. General Taiwu was already on the radio. "All forces, launch immediately. I want fighters in the air and boats in the water. We're capturing that ship and everyone on it." Within minutes, military forces from a dozen countries were moving toward the crash site. Helicopters filled the sky. Ships cut through the waves. Soldiers prepared for a different kind of battle. Commander Tholik was still alive. When the ship hit the water, he had been thrown against a wall. Now he lay in the dark, surrounded by sparking wires and dying lights. Around him, his crew moaned and cried. Some were dead. Most were simply lost. "Crix?" He called out. "Here, Commander." Crix crawled toward him through the debris. One of his arms was broken, hanging at a wrong angle. What happened? They did something. The humans. They used sound somehow. Tholik stopped. He did not have words for what had happened. In all the Empire's history, no conquered species had ever fought back like this, with music, with phones, with an app designed to look like a joke. "We need to escape," Tholik said. "We need to." Light flooded the broken corridor. Human soldiers poured in, weapons raised, shouting in their strange language. Tholik saw their faces. They were not afraid. They were not even angry. They were smiling. "Hello, Commander," one of them said in translated Velith. "Welcome to Earth. Please come with us. We have questions." Tholik was taken from the wreckage of his ship, along with 300 surviving crew members. They were put on boats and brought to shore. The whole world watched as the conquerors of 400 planets were led away in handcuffs. The memes continued, of course. Someone got a photo of Tholik being led by human soldiers, looking confused and sad. Within an hour, it had been turned into 1,000 different images. When your invasion fails and they didn't even use guns, coming to Earth? That's a mistake. Conquered 400 worlds, but couldn't handle Twitter. But now there was something else in the memes too. Pride. Humanity had faced an impossible threat and won. Not with missiles. Not with armies. With science, with cooperation, and yes, with jokes and soul. Doheen went outside for the first time in days. The streets were full of people celebrating. Strangers hugged strangers. Music played from every building. Someone had set up a screen showing the alien ship crash on repeat. "We won!" someone shouted. "We actually won!" Doheen stood in the middle of the crowd, his phone still in his hand. The app that had saved the world was still open on his screen. It looked so simple, so silly. Just a meme generator with a hidden feature. He thought about the first joke he had made, just 20 hours ago. The alien commander with a party hat. It had seemed so small, so pointless. Just a way to deal with fear. But it had been part of something bigger. Every meme, every joke, every person laughing in the face of death, they had all been fighting in their own way. They had kept the aliens confused and distracted while the real plan came together. Humanity had won with laughter as its shield, and science as its sword in the military bunker. General Taiwu allowed himself a moment of rest. Lieutenant Jian brought him coffee. "Sir, we have the alien commander in custody. He's asking to speak with our leaders." "What does he want?" "He wants to know how we did it. He says his empire needs to understand." Jian paused. "He seems genuinely confused, sir. I don't think he believes what happened." Taiwu sipped his coffee. It was hot and bitter, and exactly what he needed. "Tell him he'll get his answers. But first, let him watch our news coverage. Let him see the celebrations. Let him understand that we're not afraid of him or his empire." "Yes, sir." "And sir, what about the rest of the fleet? Intel says there are more Velith ships in this sector." Taiwu set down his coffee. His rest was over. "Then we need to be ready. Today, we won a battle, but the war might just be beginning." The 22nd hour ended. The immediate threat was over, but everyone knew this was only the start. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the strangest possible way. With memes, with music, with an unshakable refusal to take anything too seriously. The universe would never be the same. 1 year had passed since the invasion. The world had changed in ways nobody expected. The Velith ship, now raised from the ocean floor, sat in the middle of a new international research center. Scientists from every country studied its technology. They learned things that would take humanity to the stars within a generation. Commander Tholik was still on Earth. He was not in a prison. Exactly. He was in what humans called protective custody. They gave him comfortable rooms and good food. They let him watch their television and use their internet. They even let him talk to journalists. He had become, against his will, the most famous alien in human history. The memes never stopped. A year later, people still shared images of his face. They'd put it on birthday cards and coffee cups. Children dressed as him for costume parties. Someone had written a song about him that played on radio stations around the world. Tholik found this deeply disturbing. And also, somehow, a little funny. That was the strangest thing. After a year among humans, he was beginning to understand their humor. He still did not like it, but he understood it. Today, something special was happening. The Galactic Council had agreed to meet with Earth. For the first time in history, humans would address the assembly of alien civilizations. The meeting would take place by long-range communication, transmitted across the stars, and the humans had chosen their spokesperson. Minji walked into the broadcast studio with her pink hair freshly styled. She was 23 now, 1 year older than when she had organized the flash mob in Gwanghwamun Square. She still had her meme account. It now had 50 million followers, including beings from other planets. "Are you nervous?" Ambassador Yuna asked her. "A little," Minji admitted. "I still don't understand why they chose me." Yuna smiled. "Because you represent what we are. Not our governments. Not our military. You represent the spirit that saved us. The spirit that refuses to be afraid." Minji thought about this. She remembered standing in the square, dancing with thousands of strangers while aliens threatened to destroy them all. She remembered the feeling of connection, of shared humanity, of choosing joy in the face of fear. "Okay," she said. "Let's do this." The broadcast began. On screens across the galaxy, in ships and stations and planets beyond counting, alien faces turned to watch. The Velith were there, embarrassed and silent. The Zorith were there, curious about the species that had defeated their rivals. The Kalani were there, taking notes. Hundreds of species, all watching the strange little planet that had done the impossible. Minji stood before the camera. Behind her, a screen showed Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. "Hello," she said. "My name is Minji. I am a human from Earth." She paused, looking at the screen that showed her words being translated into 1,000 alien languages. 1 year ago, the Velith Empire gave us 24 hours to surrender. They expected us to be afraid. They expected us to give up. She smiled slightly. They expected wrong. Across the galaxy, beings leaned forward to listen. We did not defeat the Velith with weapons. Well, not only with weapons. We defeated them by being ourselves. We made jokes. We danced. We created art making fun of our enemy. And while we laughed, our scientists built a weapon from sound and telephones. She held up her phone, the same model that billions had used that day. This tiny thing helped save our world. Not because it is powerful, but because we used it together. 4 billion people, all pressing a button at the same time. That is what humans do. We cooperate. We create. And yes, we make fun of things, even things that scare us. Maybe especially things that scare us. The Velith representative shifted uncomfortably in his seat. To the Velith Empire, we do not want war with you. We do not seek revenge. Your commander is healthy, and I think even a little happy. He has learned to enjoy our coffee. He still does not understand our memes, but he's trying. Laughter rippled through the Earth delegation behind her. Even some aliens made sounds that might have been amusement. To the rest of the galaxy, we know you have been watching us. We know some of you think we are strange. We know some of you think we are weak because we laugh so much. Minji's expression grew serious. But let me tell you something about humans. She stepped closer to the camera. When we stop laughing, that is when you should be afraid. Our laughter is not weakness. It is a choice. We choose to find joy even in darkness. We choose to mock our fears instead of hiding from them. And when the time comes, we choose to stand together. She let her words settle before continuing. We are not looking for enemies. We would rather make friends. We would rather share our music and our art and, yes, our memes with the galaxy. But if anyone threatens us again, she paused. We have gotten very good at making apps. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, beings stared at their screens in silence. Then, slowly, something began to happen. The Zorath started sharing the video. The Kelani analyzed every word. Even some Velith, secretly, saved it to watch again later. The strange little humans had made their point. They were not a species to be conquered. They were a species to be respected. And maybe, just maybe, to be friends with. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted again. People gathered in squares around the world to watch the broadcast on big screens. In Seoul, in the same square where Minji had danced a year ago, thousands of people cheered. Da-hyun was there too. He stood in the crowd, his phone recording everything. 1 year ago, he had been just a programmer eating noodles alone. Now he was known as the person who made the first meme, the one who started humanity's strangest defense. His life had changed. He had been interviewed by hundreds of journalists. He had met world leaders and scientists. He had even met Commander Tholik once, which was the strangest experience of his life. But right now, in this moment, he was just another human in a crowd, celebrating something bigger than himself. His phone buzzed. A new meme was trending. Someone had taken footage of Minji's speech and added a funny caption. It was already being shared millions of times. Do-hyun laughed. Of course, even this historic moment became a meme within minutes. That was just who humans were done in the crowd. He spotted a familiar face. Grandmother Sunak was there, sitting on a bench with her grandson beside her. She was eating something from a paper bag, watching the celebrations with a calm expression. Da-hyun walked over to her. "Grandmother," he said, bowing respectfully. "It's good to see you." "Ah, the meme boy," she said, recognizing him. "Come, sit. Have some snacks." He sat beside her. They watched the crowd together in comfortable silence. "1 year ago, you said everything would be fine," Da-hyun said finally. "You were right." Sunak nodded slowly. "I have lived a long time. I have learned that humans are very hard to kill. We survive everything. We survived ice ages and plagues and wars. What is one alien invasion compared to that? You really weren't afraid at all?" Sunak thought about this. "Maybe a little. But fear is like salt. A little bit makes life interesting. Too much ruins everything." She offered him a rice cake. The aliens made a mistake. They thought they knew what fear could do, but they did not know what humans could do with fear. Turn it into jokes? Turn it into power. She smiled, her old face creasing with warmth. "We took our fear and made it funny. And in making it funny, we made it small. That is what humans do. We take the terrible things and we make them ours. And then they cannot hurt us anymore." Do-hyun ate his rice cake and thought about this. She was right. The memes had not just been distraction. They had been transformation. Taking something scary and making it silly was a kind of magic. The sun was setting over Seoul. The sky turned orange and pink, beautiful and peaceful. Somewhere up there, stars were shining. Stars where aliens lived. Aliens who were now watching Earth with new respect. The 24 hours that should have ended humanity had become the 24 hours that changed everything. Not because humans were the strongest species in the galaxy. Not because they had the best technology or the biggest weapons, but because they were the species that could look at their own destruction and say, "This is fine. Now let me make a meme about it." In his apartment, later that night, Do-hyun sat at his desk. His noodles were warm. His computer was on. The internet was full of celebrations and jokes and music. He opened his image editor. He had a new idea. A picture of Earth from space, with a small caption that would make the galaxy smile. He worked for a few minutes, then posted it. Within seconds, it was being shared across the world, and beyond that, the image showed Earth, blue and small against the blackness of space. And the caption read, "We're weird. We're messy. We argue about everything. But we're still here. And we're just getting started." Do-hyun slurped his noodles and smiled. Humanity had arrived in the galaxy, and the universe would never be boring again.